My name is Rin. My husband Kenichi is an alumni of Kyokuto University, the top university in the country, and is currently working as a top-class tax accountant. After I graduated from high school, I decided not to go to college and became a full-time office worker instead. A mutual friend introduced me to Kenichi, and we fell in love. I believed that I wanted to spend my life with him and got married the very next year. Although I've decreased my working hours, I'm still at the same job. I'm living with my husband and our 8-year-old son, Kotaru, and I thought that the three of us were very happy together. However, I've been troubled by the way my husband and son have been treating me recently.
Mother?
What's the matter?
Would you stop watching those inferior gossip channels so early in the morning? I prefer to watch something international, like the world news.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to check my horoscope for the day.
What's the point? It's all nonsense based on generalizations, and you only believe what it says when the results are positive anyway. You're only wasting your time.
I don't see what the problem is. It's fun hearing it and seeing it come true.
What should I expect? You're a woman that didn't even go to college. Anyway, will you change the channel to something more fruitful like the news? I wouldn't be exaggerating if I said hearing about what's been happening around the world will have a bigger influence on your day than seeing where your star sign is ranked. Well, you wouldn't know a thing about how to use that information to your advantage, since you only do as you're told to.
You've never worked a single day in your life, so don't talk like you know everything.
Good morning.
Good morning, Father.
When my husband entered the living room, Kotaru's face lit up and he began to beam, showing a completely different expression to the frown he had been giving me. Our son looks up to and respects his dad, who had graduated from college and had a successful career at a high-paying tax office.
Good morning, Kotaru. So, what's for breakfast this morning?
Nothing to look forward to, it's just eggs and bacon and a bowl of rice the same as yesterday. She's cutting corners as usual.
If only she would think about preparing some yogurt or fruits in the morning. Something to balance out those carbohydrates. What a shame.
Oh yes, that sounds much healthier than what she's prepared. You're always right, Father.
Sorry, but we don't have either of those in the fridge right now. I'll make sure to have some yogurt and fruits ready tomorrow morning. I can even make you a steak or some spaghetti if you're going to be that picky.
Oh no, don't be silly, Mother. I don't want anything with such a high amount of calories for breakfast. Anyways, I'm going to head to school. It's compulsory education after all.
Be careful about using your long words, Kotaru. You don't want to make your classmates feel inferior when they're with you, okay?
Don't worry, Father. I've learned how to hide what I think about them. And I act like the class clown. They may be stupid, but they are my friends.
Kotaru, I'm so glad that you've been growing into such a sensible young boy. It must be because you've taken after me. You're so lucky that you've got more of my blood in you.
Well, sorry for not being a college graduate. As you can see, both my husband and my son look down on me because of my educational background. Kenichi never used to say these sorts of things when we first started dating. But as Kotaru grew, he began to notice more ways that his son had taken after him and came to enjoy pointing them out. Recently, they've both started talking with an accent, like they're upper class, and have been having conversations about things that I don't understand or don't know about on purpose. Kotaru loves his dad, and unsurprisingly wants to be just like him, so he's copied the way that Kenichi has been demeaning me. For a while, it's worried me that Kotaru will start discriminating against people because of their education and their sex, but it looks like it might be too late. Hey honey, don't you think that you and Kotaru have been a bit disrespectful to me lately? It needs to stop.
Huh? What are you talking about? We're not doing anything like that.
Then what about this morning? You were both making comments about the breakfast I prepared, and talking as though I wasn't there. I've tried talking to Kotaru, but he thinks that it's okay because you never tell him off.
He was only stating the obvious. What do you want me to do? It's true that you gotta think more about a balanced diet. You don't want Kotaru to end up being a high school graduate like you, do ya?
Excuse me? That's exactly what I'm talking about. My education has nothing to do with Kotaru or how I raise him.
Are you bothered about your lack of high education? Then how about you go to college, take an online course or something?
Even though I'm working part-time and doing all of the housework, I don't have the time for that.
That's the sort of excuse made by someone who will never achieve anything. I don't have time, I don't have money, etc.
So what if I only graduated from high school? You never had a problem with it when we were dating. What's gotten into you?
Humans grow and change, Reen, although it seems like a woman like you is incapable of doing so.
Then, Kotaru, who had been at cram school, returned home.
What, is mother being hysterical again?
Welcome home, Kotaru. That's right. I only told her the truth and she snapped. It's so pitiful.
Mother, you've got to accept the truth, otherwise you can't find a solution to your problems, and you'll only become more and more miserable with yourself.
Kotaru, enough with the posh accent. You just sound like you're looking down on everyone you talk to.
Oh, Mother, you're overreacting. That's called victimizing yourself. Perhaps you should go and see a doctor, and maybe have them prescribe you some medicine.
My husband only nodded in agreement to our son's words, and didn't even attempt to tell him off. Up until now, I don't know how many times I've told Kotaru not to talk to people with that kind of tone. But if his dad won't support me, then it's clear that my words won't reach him. Listen to me, you two. Do you really believe that you're better than the people around you?
Of course I do. Just how hard do you think I've been studying all this time? Have you seen my grades? How much do you think my father earns at his position as a tax accountant?
Alright, then can you tell me how much cabbages will be tomorrow at MoniRobo supermarket when they go on discount?
How am I supposed to know that?
Well, I know, because I'm in charge of the money that goes through this household, and it's my job to put away as much money for your future as I can.
So what, you're living off father's money? So it's only a matter of fact that you make yourself useful. Do you want praise for that?
I make every single meal that goes into your mouth. I wash, clean, I drive you to school, and even have a part-time job. I do a lot of other things to make sure that your lives run smoothly, and so that your dad doesn't have to lift a finger. You say that that's a matter of course?
Don't complain, Mother. That's everything a mother is supposed to do.
I was stunned. Before I knew it, my own son had grown into a horrible, self-righteous misogynist, and it felt like there was no other way to make him understand. Oh, really? Then you guys can do everything by yourselves from tomorrow onwards. I'm not going to do any of the things I've been doing up until now.
Don't be stupid, Rin. Why are you getting so serious about an argument with a child?
Don't forget that you're also at fault here. I can't believe you're just nodding along to everything Kotaru is saying. He's refused to show me the same respect as he shows you. But you won't say anything. It's because you agree with him, isn't it?
Rin, he's right. You can't get upset because he's telling the truth. You're a housewife, so you should just…
I dare you to finish that sentence. I'm working too.
No, wait, I didn't mean I just meant that,
Father, just leave her to do as she likes. She won't be able to live without your money anyway, and she'll apologize when she realizes that.
Oh, you don't need to worry about me. I'll live on the money that I'm making at my part-time job without any problem. Thinking back, it was childish of me to make such a move, but I had reached my limit and needed to get away from them if they only thought of me as a maid and not a mother. I didn't make dinner that night and shut myself up in the bedroom, but the more I thought about it, the more I felt like I had said too much to Kotaru, who, despite his precociousness, was still just a little boy. I thought I should apologize and return to the living room, only to find my husband and son sitting face to face, talking and laughing. I wonder what they're talking about. I crept closer to the entrance of the living room without being noticed and listened to what they were saying.
Kotaru, don't let your mother's words get to you. She was just speaking nonsense. You're absolutely right, but she doesn't want to admit that. She also says that she's working, but the amount she makes is nothing compared to what I make. It doesn't count as a job when she barely makes any money.
Yes, I know. You work as a tax accountant after all.
You understand which job is more difficult, don't you, Kotaru? Mine or my mother's?
Of course I do. Your job is more difficult.
In other words, your mother has a job that anyone can do. She's expendable. She's a very big fish in a very small pond. Remember that.
That makes sense. As expected of my father, you explain everything effortlessly. We've got to think of a way to teach Mother a lesson, or she'll keep on standing up to us.
That's my boy. Tomorrow morning, we're gonna do our best to bring down that evil mother and her evil reign. She's gotta know her place.
Yeah.
I desperately wished that I was dreaming. I don't know how many times I pinched my own cheeks, but it was pointless. Ow. I had been wondering why Kotaru had started talking to me like that, but now I knew. I didn't want to believe it, but Kenichi had turned him against me and had been encouraging him to look down on me and think that I was inferior. Then, the next morning, they began their attack, just like I expected they would.
Mother, where's my breakfast? I'm hungry.
If you're hungry, then why don't you make something for yourself? It's simple.
And you call yourself a mother? Despicable.
Before being a mother, I'm a human being. I'm doing this to teach him an important life lesson.
Those that don't work don't deserve to eat.
then that would mean that you don't deserve to eat anything now, wouldn't it? By the way, I made my own breakfast using only foods that I purchased with my own money, that I made at work.
If you've got some time to talk, then make my breakfast. Father, you've got to say something to her.
Think about this, Rin. You're an adult. You can do better than this. If you're gonna be such a child, then I have to ask you to leave this house.
Oh, so you refuse to side with me, but you're happy to stand up for Kotaru.
Of course he would, because I'm right. Why would he side with you?
That's right, Rin. If you understand, then get moving and make breakfast.
At that moment, I could tell that something inside me had snapped. I couldn't take their insults any longer. Kotaru, you think that I have an obligation to take care of you and your dad because I'm a mother and a wife, and that it's a simple job for simple people. Is that correct?
That's right. So do your job and make breakfast.
I didn't want to say this to a child. I really didn't, but then I have no choice but to stop being your mother.
What?
What? Do you realize what you're saying?
Listen to me, Kotaru. There's something important that I have to tell you.
Hey, what are you doing? Think about this.
My husband guessed what I was about to do and tried to stop me, but I wasn't going to let him interfere. The truth is, I'm not your real mother, Kotaru. We're not related.
What?
Kotaru froze at my words, while his dad was obviously panicked.
That's got nothing to do with this conversation, okay? Why are you bringing it up?
It has everything to do with this. I accepted Kotaru as my own son and only kept it a secret because you begged me to. I've been doing my best as his mother and really thought of him as my own child. But I can't take the way you've been both treating me. You've been looking down on me because I didn't go to university, because I'm a woman and only work part-time. You both seem to think that I can't live without your money, but I'm perfectly fine without it. Unfortunately for you, I'm not as weak as you may think I am.
What do you mean, you're not my real mom? I don't understand.
I'm not your mother, Kotaru, because your real mother is your dad's previous wife. He's been married before.
Father, is that true?
Yeah.
Your dad told me that he divorced his previous wife after she put a lot of pressure on him, and he became depressed. We got married after a friend introduced us, and I raised you like my own son. You were only a baby, so it's not strange that you don't remember any of that. But it's the truth. I didn't give birth to you.
Really? Then that must be why I'm so smart.
What?
Father is always telling me how I need to study hard at school and get better grades, otherwise I'll turn into an idiot like you. He told me that intelligence is genetic, so I have to be careful. But if you're not my mom, then I don't have any of your blood or genes to bring my intelligence down. What a relief! I'm so glad to hear that.
If you think that, then there's really no hope for you.
If you don't like the way we think, then get out already. You don't belong here, and all you do is waste my father's money anyway. You parasite.
Wait, hey, Kotaru, don't talk to your mom like that.
It's too late to start acting like you're on my side, you know. I don't need your pity. I know that you're the one that's been teaching all these thoughts and judgments to Kotaru yourself.
What? There's no reason to stop her from leaving, Father. We don't need this woman. We just need to get rid of her while we have the chance.
But who's gonna do the housework when she leaves?
Oh, but you make so much money, don't you? Why don't you hire a housemaid to do everything for you? At least they'll get the compensation for the work they do. Though I doubt that you can afford to do that if you don't have my salary or have me managing the rent and bills. Goodbye, Kenichi, Kotaru. Thankfully, I had already gathered my things the night before, in case of a situation like this, and only had to grab my suitcase before I left the house. Despite my resolution to leave, I couldn't help but cry, and my parents welcomed me back with open arms when I got to their house. 2 months later, I had spent my time going to work and resting my broken heart at my parents' house when I received divorce papers in the mail from my husband. My parents were furious when they saw what had arrived, and even yelled that Kenichi had no right to dismiss me like that after I had made the painstaking decision to accept the child he had with his previous wife as my own son. But I no longer felt anything for him and found that I was much happier without him. So I filled the papers in and filed them at the local town hall on the very same day. A month had passed since I had filed the divorce papers when I got a call from the police. They let me know that they had Kotaru in custody. I'm sorry to have wasted your time, but I'm afraid I don't have anything to do with that child anymore. I told them that I couldn't collect him, but the police officer wouldn't give in so easily.
I've been trying to contact the kid's father, but I'm not getting through at all. I understand that there might be a reason why you don't want to get involved, but you're the only person I can get in touch with. And could you come and collect him? He is pretty upset. Kotaru himself is saying that he'd prefer to go home with you, so,
Huh? He's saying that he wants to come with me? I didn't have any obligation to go, but thanks to having been able to rest for an entire 3 months at my parents', I felt much stronger mentally and physically. I couldn't help but feel bad for Kotaru, and decided to go and see him at the police station and find out what had happened. When I arrived, I was shocked to find that Kotaru looked as though he hadn't had a bath for several days. He looked tiny as he sat crouched on the floor. Then, as soon as he saw that I had come for him,
You're late!
He complained, but in complete opposition to his words, he jumped up and ran towards me, as though he were about to hug me. I dodged out of the way.
Why did you move out of the way? It's our first reunion in months. Shouldn't you be happy to see me?
You haven't forgotten what you said to me 3 months ago, have you? Because I haven't. I think that there's something you should say to me before anything else. Go on.
I'm sorry.
Good. So why are you dirty? What happened to you? I heard everything that had happened to him and was horrified. It was worse than anything I could have imagined.
I was kicked out of the house by father.
What? Why would he do that?
He brought a new wife home, but when she saw me, she said that she didn't like children, so father told me to get out and to never come back.
I couldn't believe that Kenichi had remarried in such a short period of time. But I was even more in awe at the fact that he had the gall to abandon his own son for a woman he had just married. It was such a heartless thing to do, and I didn't know what to say.
It seems like Kotaro's father tried to give him to an orphanage, but he was denied it since he's got the financial means to raise a child, so there was no need for the orphanage to take him in.
So that's why he kicked him out? Well, I don't know why I'm so surprised. It seemed like the sort of thing he would do.
Hey, can we just go home already? I'm hungry and I want to sleep in a proper bed.
What are you talking about? I only came here because the police told me that your dad hasn't been answering the phone and hasn't come to pick you up. I just came to see what was going on.
Mother, you won't take me home, but why?
I'm not your mother, remember? I'm just a parasite that's stupid and can't do anything, aren't I? That's what you said to me when you and your father kicked me out of your home. Why do I have to take you home?
I'm really sorry.
Do you really think that saying sorry will be enough to make me feel better? I was hurt. How long were you walking around town like that?
But for 2 weeks, I used all my pocket money to buy sweets when I was still hungry.
Silly boy. Why didn't you try to go to your grandma and grandpa's house? Or at least call them from a phone booth if you were so desperate?
But...
Do you understand the seriousness of what you did now? I might have been wandering the streets just like you if I really didn't have any money. Even if your dad did encourage you, what you did was terrible as a human being. Do you understand? But I do know that I can't completely blame you because it was the result of your dad's twisted brainwashing. I just want you to learn from this.
I'm really sorry. I'm sorry.
I let out a deep sigh and contacted a certain person to let them know about the situation. Someone will come for you, so let's wait here a little longer.
Father?
What, do you want to go back to your dad after all? Kotaru shook his head violently from side to side. Don't worry, I haven't called him. I don't think he can raise you all by himself after all. But it's not like I've just been twiddling my thumbs these past 3 months.
What do you mean?
You'll understand when they arrive.
What about father?
Leave your dad to me. I'll deal with him.
Mother, Mom, I'm sorry.
You finally called me Mom again. After a while, a certain person came to collect Kotaru. I'd been searching for them desperately these past few months, and it wasn't in vain. I left Kotaru with that person, and after I saw them both off, I began my preparations to bring Kenichi to his knees. He was going to regret having made an idiot of me for being a high school graduate, and for neglecting his duty as a father for a woman he barely knew. What he had done was unforgivable. I used all of the documents I had brought with me when I left Kenichi and Kotaru's home, and found evidence of something I could use to drive Kenichi into a corner.
What are you doing here so early in the morning?
Don't play dumb, Kenichi. I have something I want to talk to you about.
Is it about Kotaru?
It's not just that. Anyway, I've brought my lawyer with me, so you better be prepared.
Are you serious? Sounds like you brought in trouble.
When I arrived at my ex-husband's house, I met a flashy-looking young woman who seemed to be his brand new wife. The house was an absolute mess, and it was clear that neither of them were cleaning. My ex-husband had obviously chosen this woman for her looks, not a partner he could rely on. When my lawyer and I entered the living room, neither of them brought out any refreshments, nor did they offer us a seat. So we remained standing, and I looked towards my ex-husband before opening my mouth to begin. First of all, I'd like to talk to you about the lie you told me.
What lie?
I found the woman you were married to before me, and she told me everything.
What?
When we first started dating, you told me that you had only just recovered from depression because of the way your wife put so much pressure on you and bullied you, and that's why you had decided to divorce her. Remember? But when I looked into it, it didn't take long to find out that you were the reason why you got divorced. It was your fault. On top of that, you made up some sob story about how she had been cheating on you and gave her no choice but to sign the divorce papers because she couldn't stand up to you. The one that had been bullying and abusive was you. The victim was your ex-wife.
That's a lie. None of that's true. Besides, how did you even talk to her? She shouldn't be able to speak.
Don't underestimate women, Kenichi. After she lost custody of Kotaru to you because of your lies, she's been fighting her depression and her mutism in order to get her son back. She's not afraid of you anymore.
What? She started speaking again? I don't believe you.
Then how about you see her for yourself? You'll be in for a shock.
Huh? But what do you mean by that?
Kana, come in.
What?
It's been a long time since I last saw you, Kenichi.
Kana? What? Why is Kotaru with you?
Mom took me in after you threw me away. Do you have a problem with that?
What? Huh? You've got to be joking, but I never told you Kana's number. How did you…
I told you I found her, and I brought them together.
I heard everything about what you did to Mom and about all the lies you told me to get on your side. Why would you do that?
Hey, is this going to take long? It sounds like a pain, so can I go to our room? I'm really bored.
No, stay here. You can't leave me alone with these people. You're my wife.
Is this the woman you chose over taking care of your own son? Rin seems like such a lovely person, but you were stupid enough to let her go. Your taste in women has clearly gotten much worse since. What is wrong with you?
Shut up, enough. I'm gonna report you to the police for trespassing, okay? I'm suing. The one who's gonna be taken to the court is you, Kenichi. I've been working with Rin to help her demand the compensation she deserves. We've got proof of this divorce being your fault.
What? So you're telling me that I have to pay this woman's compensation, even though she's beneath me?
Didn't you learn in college that education has nothing to do with compensation? You clearly didn't learn anything worthwhile.
You owe Rin $20,000. Here's all the necessary documents.
$20,000? Are you being serious? He could buy me a designer bag with that money. That's not fair. He's my husband.
Hey, will you just shut up? You're not helping. $20,000? Is that all you want? Then I'll pay it. I'll have it ready straight away, but don't even bother with me ever again, understood? Oh, and for Kana and Kotaru, you'll have to pay $500 in child support every month. The details for Kana's bank account are in this file.
What? You want $500 every month?
Of course. He's your son. You should be happy to pay that much so that he can lead a good life.
I'm ashamed to call him my father.
You took him in, so you should pay for everything yourself. Why should I? That's the rule, Kenichi. Pay it.
Or would you rather we call the police on you for throwing out an elementary schooler and get arrested for neglect? You have a choice.
Wait, I didn't throw him out. I speak to an orphanage and child services, but they refused to take him in, so I had no choice. You can't have me arrested. Mom, I don't mind giving the police a statement of what happened.
Maybe we should do that. What do you think?
Wait, I was in the wrong, okay? I apologize, so please just don't call the police. I'm begging you. Alright, well, if you sign here as proof of your approval, your word isn't enough. Damn you. You'll all remember this. Get the hell out of my house. You don't ever come back here ever again.
That's exactly my intention, Kenichi. Oh, but there's one more thing. Then, for the final part of my revenge, I delivered a fatal blow to Kenichi's career when I revealed what I knew. The truth is, I wasn't just looking for your ex-wife after I left the house. I actually copied the contents of the USB from your office before I left, and did a little digging. And what do you think I found?
You did what?
I was speechless. I found evidence of something unbelievable. You became a tax accountant, and yet, it seems that you've been helping several companies and individuals to evade their tax. Did you really think that you could keep that hidden?
What? You didn't even go to college! How could you understand any of those documents? You're bluffing.
Don't underestimate me. I've been managing the money that goes in and out of this house for years. I can see when the numbers don't add up. Well, I didn't actually look at it myself. I took it to a friend of mine who's a professional at this sort of stuff and had them take a look for me. However, I found his Achilles heel, and when he finally realized that I wasn't bluffing, his face turned pale and he began to sweat. Earlier this morning, I sent the contents of your USB to the manager of your office, so they should be all aware of your crimes by now. Good luck when you get to work.
And what?
And just like that, you're finished. How does it feel?
You really go that far just to get back at me? It's pathetic.
Of course I do. Don't you understand just how angry I am? I thought that you were more intelligent than that, Mr. I went to the top university in the country.
Don't you dare laugh at me like that.
Huh? I don't understand. What's going on? To summarize, your husband has been committing crimes at work and owes us compensation, so he won't have enough money to buy you your designer bags. Are you okay with that? What? No way. I didn't sign up for that. I thought that you said that I didn't have to work and that you would buy me anything I wanted if I married you. There's no point in me staying with a guy like you if you don't have any money. If you can't keep your promises, then I want a divorce. You conned me, you liar. I'm leaving.
What? Are you gonna abandon me as well?
I think I made it pretty clear that it's not worth being with a bossy, rude old guy like you unless you have money. Who would want to marry you if you don't have the looks or the money or the personality, idiot? And besides, I was getting bored of listening to you go on and on about taxes and stuff I don't understand. You're always using long, complicated words on purpose, aren't you? I don't know when she had prepared them, but Kenichi's new wife slammed divorce papers down on the table and left the house. It looked like they had already been signed. By the way, are you sure you don't want to get yourself to the office? I think you might want to hurry before it's too late. Or they might already be making a fuss about it right now.
Oh crap, I can't let them open that file. I'll lose my job. Please tell me that my manager hasn't checked his emails yet. I've gotta delete it. Kenichi, what's going on? What's the meaning of this email? Yeah, it's just someone's prank, okay? You can't take it seriously, sir. I would never do something illegal like that, you know? You've gotta believe me, please. Illegal? What are you talking about? Huh? I'm talking about this ridiculous email that was sent to me earlier this morning. I wanna know who sent it and what do you know about it? Ridiculous email? Kenichi likes sleeping in his underwear? What on earth is this? I'm asking you because I have no idea. Did you do this? I thought that you saw the evidence of my tax evasion. Tax evasion? What are you talking about? Ah, damn it. I didn't mean, it's nothing, sir. It's nothing to worry about.
There's another email from a different address, sir. It says that Kenichi has been involved in tax evasion. It's got screenshots of conversations and evidence.
Kenichi, come to my office. I'd like to hear more about this. No, really, it's nothing. Why is this happening to me?
That idiot wasted my time. This is punishment for that. I don't know if it's true or not, but I hope that this email sends him to hell. He looked so pale when I told him I sent an email to his workplace. As if. I would never do something like leak company information. I bet he'll just get caught red-handed somehow anyway. After that, Kenichi was interrogated by his manager for the truth, and his workplace eventually found out that the contents of the anonymous email were true, and that he had been aiding in clients' tax evasion. He was arrested by the police that very same day. Of course, the office was guilty for not having caught on this behavior sooner and would have to pay the price. But they must have realized that it would have caused more trouble if they tried to cover it all up, and came clean right away. Kenichi was thrown behind bars, and it'll be a while before he'll be free to go. He'll have to get used to life as a prisoner. Once he comes out, he'll most definitely have difficulty finding a place that will hire him because of the choices he's made. And he'll have aged too, making physical labor a lot tougher on him. For someone that enjoyed bragging about his superiority and his education, it's pitiful to see what he's become. It's divine punishment on behalf of all the people he looked down on, and he deserves it. As for Kotaru, he's been having a tough time at Kana's, but only because she's been reforming him from the rude brat he had become under Kenichi's supervision. Otherwise, he's been doing very well. Kana has fixed his habit of assuming that he's better than other people and taught him some manners. When looking into why Kenichi had thrown Kotaru out, I found out that my ex-husband had no intention of taking custody of Kotaru when he divorced Kana, but he had no choice. The combination of me agreeing to accept Kotaru and Kana's doctors and family insisting that Kana wasn't in any state to take custody of him, he reluctantly gave in the pressure from all sides to take Kotaru home with him. As Kotaru grew up, it seems that Kenichi became afraid of being blamed for Kana's depression and decided to raise Kotaru into his only ally. In the end, I think that it was a good thing that Kotaru was able to learn about how to be a decent human being in the care of his real mother. As for me, I'm still living with my parents and have returned to being a full-time worker at the office and have been working really hard for a promotion. I think I'll spend some time alone before I think about getting a new partner. If I've learned anything from this event, is that I'm a terrible judge of character, so I'd like to move forward in my career and take my time looking for someone to spend the rest of my life with.